Welcome to Around the Blockchain. My name's TJ. Welcome to Around the Blockchain, the best daily streaming show on Twitch. Shout out.
This is Blockchain Basement.
Oh no! I don't even know the name of my own show.
Reboot it.
Wait.
Undo.
Stop. Are you gonna do the? Give me the barn doors
Yeah,
again.
bring back the barn doors.
I was too ready for my intro and yeah. Hold on.
Hands up. You got it.
Welcome to Blockchain Basement, the best.
Do it again.
Wait. Welcome to Blockchain Basement, the best daily streaming show here on Twitch. Shout out to anybody here who's live. Twitch.tv/bitboy_crypto to get here in the live chat. If you're not here in the live chat, we still love you. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Smash the like, subscribe, go live notifications, turn all that stuff on so you can get in here and hang out with us. If you're on audio, we love you too. Drive safe out there. Living that commuter life. It's all about it. So as you already saw when we zoomed out there, we're going to have a really good show for you guys today. We've got the one and only, the Nick Tater, Crypto Sunglasses. You know him, you love him. He brings the hard truth, whether you like it or not. Speaking of the truth, we've got the Druth Teller here himself, Prepper Crypto. Sad times for those who watch his channel. He did get deleted last night. We're going to talk about that a little bit. The beautiful Allie joining us here today, as well as the beautiful Biscuit Jesus. Ribs hanging in there. Hair, locks looking great. Also, if you could check the levels a little bit, we did get some comments about, I know I talk a little loud, guys. I do kind of shout. I don't know if it was my levels or Drew's, but definitely got some comments in there about.
Pretty sure it was Kelly's, but
Kelly. Okay, yeah.
He just is a
They're
loud
all
talker.
wrong.
What was it?
They're all wrong.
It's
Perfect.
obviously perfect.
Of course,
Yes.
BJ. That's what I assumed when. So I saw some of you guys say, "Hey, too loud," and I'm like, "Oh, well, BJ's gonna adjust it. I'm not even gonna."
It's time to
adjust it."
gaslight the audience. It's not too loud.
Yeah.
Turn your volume down.
Shut up, pencil necks. No, just kidding. Just kidding. We love you guys. Shout out to all of you guys in here. Paper Planes, Chemistry Bro, Pun 78 Div, Crypto Sub Method, the original D-Day, IB Mike King, Quantum Crypto, Urkelson, Crypto Tony, Dude, what does mine say? I already said Mama Crypto, Crypto Shock 217, Riddle with Puns, Big Hands Dan, Crypto Cody, the origin. That's it. All right, those are all the new ones I see in there. Say something in the chat so I can see your name. Sin Drew Giver. Hey, who's that?
Oh,
we got a Drew simp in the chat here.
It's in Drew Guyver, yeah. Maybe it was those classified documents they found in my garage.
Yeah. So what happened
Next
last
to your
night?
Camaro.
Free top D.
Tell us, Crypto Prepper, what happened?
So I was just calmly discussing a couple power outages nationwide.
Well, hold on. Don't get us canceled, though. Just don't say what you said. Just tell everybody what happened.
Yeah. So basically, I went live, did my thing. It was a good, normal live stream. And then I woke up and my entire YouTube was like deleted.
Were you talking about a guy whose name rhymes with Jorge Boros?
I didn't talk. I maybe brought him up for 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And
29 seconds too long.
Yep. Didn't read what he wrote or nothing like
He
that.
stays up.
Yeah. So it was a rough time, but yeah, it just is like, I mean, I'm kind of used to it for sure. Not allowed back on Facebook, I don't think, ever again. So.
Yeah, YouTube deleted the Prepper Crypto channel. So sad times for all of you guys out there trying to be prepared. We love him. He was putting good work in there, but sometimes the truth is just a little too real, and YouTube isn't ready for it. So sad times. I think it might have been, there's been a hot button issue with things that go boom boom pow pow. I think that might have been something that triggered it a little bit, but we won't.
It's weird because it's already in mainstream. All I was just showing what was already on, MSM.
Yeah, but maybe pointing out the inaccuracies of mainstream.
I didn't even do that. I literally, I was very, very objective.
Yeah.
And
It's sad that you can get canceled now for speaking the truth.
Yeah, it is sad. I should have pulled it up in regards to this. I saw it somewhere on Twitter, a clip, in the UK, an independent journalist was talking with, on a UK publication, basically saying, did you know 300 people were arrested in Russia for things they said on social media? Yeah. Obviously, UK, a very different place, right? How many people do you think got arrested here? And the guy's like, oh, I don't know. How many? Over 3,000 people got arrested in the UK for things they said on social media.
They went to jail in the UK.
Yes. So one person, here's the story they shared in that clip. And this is a little bit relevant, and we'll get moving on. It's just ridiculous the way the censorship's going. It seems like one of the only places you're safe these days is Twitter, believe it or not, which used to be one of the worst about it. But
Bro, did you see the thing from the World Economic Forum where they called out Twitter?
no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So a woman from the EU, she said, she basically made a threat to Elon Musk and said, there's absolute free speech absolutist, bought Twitter, probably illegally.
Yeah.
And he says he's for absolute truth, but we are the enforcers of absolute truth. And you need to abide by our standards or it's going to be taken away from you. And she just threatened Elon Musk.
And that's what she said.
Yeah. Good one. No, that's really terrible. Did somebody ask JG George, can he see through those BTC glasses? He can.
Yeah.
He's actually got laser eyes behind there, and if he takes them off, they shoot lasers just like Cyclops from X-Men. So we have to keep the sunglasses on when we're in the basement. Otherwise, those laser eyes, that BTC maximalism will come piercing through, and you better watch out for that if you're a Hexkin or if you're in the XRP army. You don't want to get lasered by those eyes. I'll tell you that much.
No.
Nope.
But I'll wrap this story up real quick before we jump into the news. We got a lot of stuff to hit here. We got some deep, sneaky picks. I teased it yesterday. I think it's 10 or so projects that haven't even dropped yet. And those are things to keep an eye on. I'm not making any guarantees, but I know what I did the best with in 2020 and 2021 was the new projects that launched in 2019, not the big winners of 2017. We talked about that a little bit this morning in regards to Steppen. I think sometimes you got to know when to cut ties and move into something better and not start hoping everything you were already in comes back. But real quick to finish up this story, in the UK, they actually the story they gave about somebody being arrested for social media was somebody had a friend who had died in a horrific car accident, and all they did was post the lyrics to their friend's favorite song. It was a rap song. It obviously had a lot of expletives in it and a lot of racial commentary, that basically racial slurs in there. And because of that post on social media, she was arrested, prosecuted, charged, given 500 hours of community service, fined, and I forgot the last part that happened. That wasn't it
like
Sent to jail.
probation or like put on?
Oh, I think it was 5-year curfew.
Yes.
8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for 5 years. Insane in the UK, freedom
is not a free country.
Yeah, freedom is absolutely under attack out there. I did. Speaking of WEF and some of the stuff coming out of Davos, I do have a clip from that about they're definitely coming after your personal freedoms. They're trying to apply a carbon score to individuals now rather than just companies, using that to limit where you go, what you eat, and what you do. So yeah, it's gonna get dicey, but let's dive right in. Crypto Tony with the question: what is the highest price of BTC and ETH you would suggest to stop DCAing? Interesting question.
You got an
answer? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop buying Bitcoin at 17K because now I'm moving into altcoins. I've got enough Bitcoin. I'm more interested in altcoin, but if I'm looking at BTC, if I don't have any, I'd probably hold off at about 30, 35 or more of on the time frame of the end of this year, just for the kind of crab walk to get over with for what I feel like is going to be happening for the rest of the year. So.
And that's again part of his actual investing thesis. Like you heard him say, he's accumulated the amount of Bitcoin he wants before he moves on to the next stage of his process. And I think, again, that's why I always tell you guys, having your own plan is critical and understanding what you need to accumulate before you start moving on. So for me, I've got a DCA that just goes every week and it just doesn't stop. It doesn't really matter what the price is. That's just my strat. It's not a big one, it's a small number, but I'll continue to buy all the way through new all-time highs, all the way until I go to sell in 24 and 25. Not major amounts. I've done my major laddering in for Bitcoin already. I am in a similar place to Drew now, where I'm looking for some sneaky alt picks, and I'm going to be trying to scoop them on BTC drawdown or cool off periods. Hey, somebody's already dropping one of my sneaky picks. I think you went and did the research from what I teased yesterday.
He's paying attention.
What about you, Nick? What do you think about a time to stop DCAing on BTC and ETH? And I'll be honest, I'm always buying ETH.
Yeah,
just period.
Really, it depends on what your Bitcoin strategy is. like if you're buying at 40 or 50K, like you're only looking at a 2x for the next bull run. So if you're okay with 2x gains, then that's fine. It's almost like an ETF at that point. So for me personally, I'm trying to be a whole coiner. So I'm going to be buying in probably up until, 40K. But I'll be kind of like tranching my buys. Like I made a big purchase when we were under 18. I'll make another big purchase as long as we're under 25. But it'll rapidly fall off from there once we get over 25. And then I'll be going into ETH. Anytime you can get ETH for less than 2K, that's a great buy.
Yep.
So.
I agree completely. Great analysis there. Mama Crypto, did I sell the house? Not yet. It's on my list of things to do. It's ready to be listed. It's all cleaned up. I just haven't quite pulled that trigger yet.
That's a lot of work getting the house ready to get.
Yeah, it is. I usually try to keep it pretty much, in showing condition even, at all times. But yeah, it's on my list of things to do. And then crypto sub method is a great question here. Will you take some profits in 2024 and reallocate to alts/hot coins, picking up social media steam and good fundamentals? Absolutely, yes. That's why I'm heavy Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Those pumps, you take the profit on those, and then you jump on the hot movers, the hot altcoins in the bull market, and that's really where you can make some of those big gains. And then you, for me anyway, roll those back to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the cycle goes on. So, Crypto Thorn, hey TJ, do you know if you got my email about the cruise? I do not know. I did not see it as of a few minutes ago. I have not received it, so no, I didn't. So sorry about that. But real quick, we'll do a touch on crypto coin market cap prices. Generally, where they were yesterday. No real moves here for the most part. Bitcoin, Ethereum, holding at a pretty key resistance right now, and that will bring us to this story. We touched on it on the morning stream today, but we're looking at some pretty key levels here. If you guys were watching the morning stream, Frank from Frankie Candles, go sub to his channel, was showing some of these key levels. We know, and I've talked about this the other day, the key levels where we paused on the way down that were brief temporary supports that did not hold, obviously become resistance on the way back up. We want to flip them. We got above 22 and 20, that 21 mid 21 range, which is important, but 25 here, very key level. And if we can get above it, it's become really tough for the bears that are screaming for new lows. So if you guys are one of those people in this chat that wants lower lows, you better be hoping we don't clear 25, because that's a very key level in my opinion. So let's see, Bitcoin rally near a lot of liquidity. After putting in 40% gains in January, Bitcoin continues to consolidate in 23,000. And I just want to pause there for a minute. And, we're speaking about mainstream media, and I don't know, probably nobody in this chat has any trust or faith in the mainstream media anymore. If you do, it might be waning at this point, but Bitcoin has rallied 40% on the year, incredible growth, and you don't hear about that on the mainstream news. They're still, fudding it. They're still looking at the crash from all-time highs. They're not doing that with the stock market as much. If the stock market moves a little bit up, they're very bullish on it and they're really pushing it. Now they're still sending some fear and some recession stuff out there. But if you were trying to do honest journalism, there's no way you wouldn't be reporting on a 40% gain on the year on one of these assets, or looking at the lifetime gains on the assets compared to the other things you're analyzing. It's just complete intellectual dishonesty, much like most of the mainstream news. It's all sensationalized. It's all politicized. And, Drew and I were talking this morning, if you want news, you pretty much have to go to Twitter these days. I mean, you get more real news on Twitter and, even TikTok. As much as TikTok is controlled, you get more information and news in those two places than you do watching anything mainstream. So,
yeah. Do you think they're going to be looking into the New York Stock Exchange collapse, honestly?
No, absolutely not. They definitely won't. I'm sure they've already got their narrative and they're going to be pushing it hard. I mean, we touched on it today. For those of you who don't know, the stock exchange did basically go down or freeze trading for a very temporary point today.
Right at opening, though.
Right at the opening. And as I noted on the morning stream, right at a key resistance point for the S&P 500, where if it were to flip that, things would have gotten very bullish pretty much across all markets. Crypto Submed says, our media and government is so corrupt and no one really cares. Our freedom is slowly being eroded. America is asleep at the wheel. It does feel like that way for the majority, but I would say not all of us. Everybody that's here in this basement, all of us here right now, I think we are in a paradigm of new media and new news with content creations and content creators out there trying to spread real information. So I think I think we're going to see a shift in the media paradigm as we go forward, and I think we're seeing that all around the world. So,
Right.
Casino Doggy said mainstream in UK this last week has been Davos, and a bit more Davos. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, well,
are they covering it in a positive light?
I would absolutely guarantee you it is in a positive light.
Like just telling you what they're talking about.
Yeah, this is all the things they're doing to try to help the world, basically.
Gotcha.
And it's interesting how much more media attention. We talked about this a little bit. There's a lot of notables that aren't there. It feels like there's going to be another kind of gathering to make some of the more discrete decisions. But the big narratives now, they're using this as like, okay, this is our opportunity to hard push these narratives and to sound blast, what they say it often and say it loud, and then they'll convince you whether there's any logic or reason there or not.
I think if you say it 70 times,
70, that's the
70
number.
times, if someone hears the same thing 70 times, it's built into their consciousness
Wow.
as a truth. So,
All right, well, real quick, we'll come back to the price here on this 25K level because there's some interesting things to look at. For Swift, the areas around 25,000 is now especially significant. He noted in a tweet on January 24th, which is this morning, and this is why it's significant. It's also the site of Bitcoin's 200-week moving average, a key trend line which has been absent from the chart since middle of 2022, which we know that's when things got really bearish. So you guys have heard me talk about the 200-day moving average as being very important. That's a key level on the technicals. The 200-week moving average, just like anything else, the longer the time frame, when it flips bullish, the stronger it gets. So the fact that we got bullish on the weekly, now we were showing, I think it was on this stream yesterday, bullish on the monthly. If we can get bullish on the 200-week compared to the 200-day, it makes that support that much stronger. It makes it that much harder to get back to lower lows. I know a lot of us are still praying for lower lows to continue to do that accumulation, but I would not be betting the farm on that right now. That's why we always preach dollar cost averaging. I do feel like 15.5 is the bottom. Not saying anything's, okay, well, Inevitable Junkie he's positive 15K was the bottom.
Whoa.
And I'm fairly confident. I do think, I won't rule anything out because I definitely didn't predict the crash on March 12th, 2020 due to the pandemic. And we know there's a lot of whispers about cyber attacks, and we could see some kind of dramatic cyber attack in the next year or two. Yeah. And if something like that happens, if we have a major outage on the stock market, if we have a major outage, and on any, obviously the New York Stock Exchange would be huge. That could cause a flash crash and then a quick correction. And, so that we could wick down below it, but I don't see us getting back below those levels for any sustainable amount of time. Definitely not the 10-year bear market theory that we've heard a lot of people talking about, that Amazon chart theory. It's a fun theory to talk about, but the more we move up to these stronger levels, the less and less likely that becomes. And I'd put it in the 2 to 5% range at this point. And you guys have agree, disagree?
Well, I mean, a lot of people say the black swan is the Russia world war could happen. This is a world war. We've been in
a world trade war for the last 5 to 8 years, I would say.
So, a lot of the worry is that, we're going to fall as a nation in the U.S., yada, yada, yada. I just don't see it happening. I don't see this country falling like that for the next 100 to 200 years. The world has not seen anything like this since Rome. And it's going to be a while to dislodge. It's going to have to be done internally. So I don't see a major black swan. I did call out COVID.
No, we're safe to say it now. You can only not say it when there was,
I did call it out in 2014 that it was coming.
Interesting.
So, there's things that you can look ahead for, but yeah, man, that's why I'm into preparing for the good financial side and making upside for myself and bettering my family's life, but then just preparing on the tangible good side as well in case the lights do go off, and it's probably, in my opinion, like a 1% chance, but it's always there, and you got to hedge your bets. So
absolutely. And Chemistry Bro says, I'm confident we would need some large forced selling event to set a lower bottom, and it seems like most exchange DCG stuff is stabilizing now, so I don't know what it would be. And that's generally the sentiment I have. For those out there saying, oh, we can still have a 50% correction, that's more impact than what FTX going down would have, because that was about a 26 to 30-ish% correction. So what could cause that? There's very few things, in my opinion, very very small chance that those things could happen at this point. Not to say we're going to new all-time highs. I tend to agree with this sentiment right here. A short-term prediction suggested that some consolidation could take place for as long as it needs to take place before there's another breakout to either side of the range. And you guys know, we traded in a really tight range there for about 2 to 3 months.
Yep.
And don't rule that out at all right now. Like, we know boring is part of this market, and we could stay between 21 and 23 for much longer than any of us would really want to do.
Yep.
So buckle up for that. And again, that I think is long-term bullish for me, because if we range and consolidate in here, that just makes that support that much stronger. And then, we slowly start to make moves up. We looked at, Fed rate hikes yesterday, and the likelihood of them getting greater or more than what they predicted so far is very low. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. So all right, let's talk about privacy coins. Oh, go ahead.
Question from Crypto Code 88. Off topic, but looking into getting my taxes ready and wondering what are some good places to go for my crypto.
Yes, so we are not tax professionals, obviously, or tax attorneys, but we do like to use them. Coinledger.io is somebody that we've used a lot. They have really good resources and information for getting tax information done. I know people have used TaxBit in the past, but Coinledger.io, I would say definitely go check them out. We can try to throw a link up somewhere. I know we have an affiliate, or a link with them. So
if you use promo code BitBoy, you get, I think, 10% off.
There you go. Promo code Bitcoin, you get 10% off. Crypto Pimp says, we got a Pirate Chain fan in the chat here. So I like that. Yeah. That's one of the, one of the stronger privacy coins, I would say. Obviously, the commonly known ones, Zcash, Monero, obviously, some of the top brand ones. And that's always an interesting discussion with me between tech and brand. But I saw this last night, and the more I thought about it, the more it really makes sense. Once upon a time, I thought every privacy coin would rule the world. Years later, I'm beginning to think their user base simply turns every coin into a privacy coin with a flimsy piece of plastic. Meaning, it's very easy to get an alternate ID, with your picture in a different country, in a different nation. And the more I think about this, the more I tend to agree. What do you guys think? Privacy coins necessary, or are the people using them finding more analog efforts to obscure their identity?
I mean, I think that they're necessary, but I'd prefer that we just demand legislation that allows privacy through our governmental means. Here in the U.S., I'd prefer that we do it at a legislative level to begin with, not on a technological level.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I talk about it to everyone, is because they do still work for us, so, well, on paper.
Yeah,
so,
allegedly.
Yeah, you can, I mean, officially it is that way. And, the Supreme Court holds up when you take it all the way there. So, yeah, I think that Monero, it's going to create basically a parallel where you're going to have centralized systems are going to be majority of the operation for markets, and then you're going to have small insular economies that operate and accept private transactions. I think there's a necessary use case for privacy coins in the future. I don't think they're going anywhere.
Yeah, I think privacy, I agree, should be a core human right. It shouldn't be something we have to fight our government over. That being said, we know the government is incentivized, and again, the World Economic Forum and all of the where we're moving to is a global place where oh man, it looks like he's flipping us the bird in that shot. But you ready for audio here, BJ?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
2 seconds.
Is he flipping me off?
I know it does look like he's flipping us off. Hold on, let me make sure I got. Yeah, we are.
He has
muted
been
there
the whole time.
I get it, boo.
All right, let's get it.
How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Yeah,
Thank God he's too old to get a boner, because he would have just lifted that table.
Yeah,
He's
he was
proud
so
of
excited.
himself. Yeah.
ESG scores, we know, something they use to manipulate and bully companies into staying within their rules. Now they're talking about tracking individuals everywhere they go, everything they eat, everything they do on the platform, giving you a personalized carbon credit score, which is another way to say a personalized control score. We've seen
Social
the way
credit.
Yeah, social credit. We know that the way they did it in China is not anything. It's very authoritarian, Orwellian, whatever you want to call it. It's not the type of world I want to live in. So we do need to continue to fight for privacy. Like Drew said, they do work for us. But when you hear that, Nick, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
First thing that comes to my mind is buy Bitcoin.
There you go.
Buying Bitcoin is a put on the Fed, right? And so you can opt out of this system thinking that it's inevitable. Well, it's inevitable as long as you think it is, right? everyone thought slavery was inevitable and there's no way to change it until a few people stood up and then it became a movement.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was just inevitable that black people wouldn't be able to vote and would constantly be under thumb here in the United States until a few people stood up against it. And now there's been massive changes in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So this started with little things like the Magna Carta, the idea of the Magna Carta, and then the Magna Carta became a thing. So like if you are just, the hardest sell for anyone, for any normie, is privacy until they don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not our job, I don't think anymore, as crypto like promoters to try to convince people how important privacy is. I think we just have to get them in here for the gains and then they stay for the revolution.
Yeah,
Because once they actually start taking ownership of something, then they get privacy. The people, the truckers in Canada, they already understand the need for privacy.
Yep.
But normies here in the United States who are just trying to like freaking buy eggs for their family, I don't really care about that right now. If there was a Fed coin that came out next week and they said, guess what? If you use Fed coin, it's 50% off food at the grocery store. You know what everyone would start using? The frickin' Fed
Stop
coin.
giving them ideas. Not that they don't.
No, I mean, you're right.
They would do it.
I
You're
think
so right, and I hate it.
I think that's
They
how
would
they're
do
going to
it.
get people using it is by stimulus. They're going to say, you want your next airdrop money?
Yep.
You got to use this app, this government app, and this government coin.
Yep. And they'll bake that in for 10 years, and then they'll slowly start putting up fences until you're in a Warsaw ghetto of financial poverty.
Yeah.
And you will not be able to escape, and someone is going to have to get you out. And the person who's going to get you out of that Warsaw ghetto of financial poverty is a Bitcoiner.
That's true.
So
right.
thank your local Bitcoiner. Thank us. Thank everyone else in this chat.
Yep.
For people watching this stream in the future, because you're all wage slaves, we're the ones who are going to free you from it. There is actually absolutely going to be a parallel economy.
Yes.
There's going to be this is going to get Drew as hard as a rock. Capital flight.
Yeah.
And that is going to leave. The capital is going to leave, and it will not be in the United States because the ethos and the spirit of the United States will no longer be in the United States. It will go somewhere else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mark my words.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Razmataz, that's why I went like that.
Yeah.
You know, he does understand the point. And shout out to Ariel for Life says, what Nick just said is exactly what happened to me. I came for the quick money and stayed because I learned what crypto stood for, what their ethos is, what it's all about. Yeah. And it's easy to get distracted in there. And I do think, that's one thing Bitcoin maxis have right. They're laser focused on one goal, and that's freedom for humanity, freedom for mankind. I do think that comes through Bitcoin. I do think you also have to jump the wealth gap at the same time. Some people it's easy to do with Bitcoin. Some people it's very difficult at this point. So we have to use altcoins and other ways to grow those gains and get on the other side of that. But I also see that same future. There will be, it sounds crazy when they're talking about building your Citadel, but there will be places where people have exited the system, and I don't know where you stand spiritually, but it's very biblical at the same time too. You look at where that goes, people will not be able to buy, sell, transact.
Yeah.
They'll be cast out of society. I think that's going to be Bitcoiners, in my opinion. So
Shout out to Madamus Prime. He said, first time watching live on Twitch, long time YouTube watcher. You guys are the best crypto show.
let's
Duh.
go.
Duh.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
I just want to say I absolutely agree with Nick that majority of people, they'll come in here, they'll find the monetary freedom that they can get through crypto, and they'll stay for the other aspects it provides. I originally found crypto through encrypted data communications because of a physical and very mortal silencing of someone that was in the circle of those who I followed before the flu season came about, that was physically silenced by alphabet soup boys. And so I came from the data encryption side. So that's why I'm kind of really heavy on the actual utility coins. And, Bitcoin, great. I can buy a bunch of stuff and I have a car and it doesn't have a payment or anything. But yeah, there's a lot of freedom to be had in this technology, and it's super important to tell people before it's too late.
Absolutely.
Drew,
That was
Casino
moving.
Doggy wants to know, now that YouTube is out of the question, are you going to stream on Twitch instead?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep streaming. Trying to get Rumble set up, but maybe I should just go to Twitch. I don't even know how. Like, I know I go live on Twitch.
No,
I think,
Twitch is tough for discovery if you're new. I would, Rumble's not a bad place for you. And you can continue to go on Twitter, Periscope. I think you had been pushing your streams there. That's where you're gonna, I think, have the most safety for what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And I'm sure hey, I know my brother would love.
Well,
it if
and
you're
the
on
funny thing, Rumble wanted me to sign up a PayPal, and I'm not hooking anything up to PayPal.
Interesting.
Like, the PayPal will try to clear me out, man, the moment that I hook my bank account to them. So, I've experienced silencing on basically every platform. Really happy to see Elon. He's really won me over the last year, and
same.
I really hope he continues to grow this system out. And
it is interesting. He's hit another. He's one of the founders of OpenAI. That's another multi-billion-dollar company. So between
10 billion now.
Yeah, I think it's. Some people saying 30. Between PayPal, SpaceX, Tesla, Twitter. He didn't found Twitter, but OpenAI. He's got quite the track record as
the boring company.
The boring company. Yeah, he's basically launched a $1 billion company every 5 years. So,
have you ever seen a microtunnel? What a microtunnel is?
I've seen a video.
Yeah, I used to.
I don't know. Is it the micro or is it just a big tunnel? I don't know.
I used to hire for them. They call them microtunnels, but it's like a 2-story or 3-story.
Okay, yeah.
It's massive. These gargantuan drills that they use, and he's doing. I'm very curious what he's doing. I know he's working the LA system, but I've hired some people that have been digging in Antarctica.
Yeah, he's definitely kicking the hornet's nest in a lot of different ways with what happened with Twitter. I know. He's won a lot of people over with that. Could be strategy, could just be who he is. Anytime, again, it's hard for us to. I'm a Bitcoiner, right? It's hard to trust anybody. And when you see track records like that, you're like, man,
and the
how
chip
do you?
thing, that's where I'm not chipping.
Yeah,
I'm going to die organically.
Yeah,
but.
build trust, implant a chip in all of them, and control the world.
Right.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But I will say I'm very pleased with what he's done with Twitter, and he has shined a really bright light in some really dark areas, which I think is really important. What are you laughing at, Crypto Rex? Yeah, Crypto Rex, you should trust your wife. I think you need to have a conversation about that. Communication and trust is a key to a good relationship. So maybe don't give her your Bitcoin keys, but keys to your car.
You just told her to trust her and then not trust her in the same sentence.
Don't give her your Bitcoin. Then who's gonna know where his Bitcoin is if he?
You can give her a plan. But
Have you seen those? They're actually really cool. They're the death keys.
No.
So it's a USB drive that has a 7 to 16 digit number that you have to type in it before plugging it in, so you can keep your will and everything else on those.
Oh, that is cool.
Actually, really cool. I saw one the other day.
Yeah, you're gonna get one of those for all of us for Christmas, BJ.
Hanukkah,
Kwanzaa, maybe no.
Crypto Rex, do you trust your girlfriend though?
Answer me.
Wait, what?
That's the joke, because he has a wife, but
trust
does he
her.
trust his
Oh,
girlfriend?
I gotcha. Ha ha.
Random, but last night I was reading an article about Audrey Hepburn, and it was on The Guardian.
There we
I went
go.
on an Audrey Hepburn rabbit hole, and it was on The Guardian, and at the very bottom
She a Bitcoiner?
of the article,
No, she started the WF.
it
though.
gave this really long plea to please donate money to us because when Elon, it was all about
Yeah,
Elon,
that's right.
talking
Oh,
about
wow.
how Elon, if we can get money, then we can, get back at Elon, we can piss Elon off and we could bother him and all this stuff. And it was just funny. That was their,
Wow.
Yeah,
that was their whole tactic.
Like if you guys have ever been on, isn't it Wikipedia or whatever?
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll have those oh, please donate or we're gonna go out of business.
Yeah.
She was reading it to me and it was and their whole thing was the year's 2030. Elon's gone. Basically, he's lost his entire fortune trying to save Twitter. Blah blah. And it was just all about how he was a assault on news and journalism. And I'm sitting here thinking, Twitter's the only real news I can ever get these days.
And then it was please donate $15 a month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
They're
crazy.
dying.
Ralph says my wife thinks the seed phrase is a plant in the garden. Well, hey, maybe it is. But maybe you hide your seed phrase in your garden. Maybe
My
you
wife
bury it in your
knows
backyard.
everything. She has all my logins, everything. She
We
can clear
have
out.
we have a plan. I'll say that much. So yeah, all right, we got to roll through these. I have quite a few stories here. I wanted to read this off. I actually didn't realize this was a list of a whole bunch of things. So if you guys want to go read the rest later, that's great. I just saw the beginning, and I think this rings very true. Every piece of advice I could think of after 4 years as a solopreneur. Pessimists are often right. optimists are often wealthy. This is something I've noticed a lot. It's very easy to poke holes, to be negative, to say something's not going to work. It's much harder to try things, to take action, to find a silver lining. And the optimists that are actually doing things and believe in progress tend to have a much better time, much better future long term. So, this is something I always say, another way to say it, boldness beats brains. There's a lot of, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room, but massive action creates massive, reaction.
Yep.
That's just a law of the universe. And with those reactions, you can learn a lot. I always say trial and error is the best way to learn the most, the fastest. If you just sit back and think about, if I did this, that would happen. If I did this, that would happen. You don't really know. You're just guessing. If you do it, you'll get that instant feedback, whether it's from the market, whether it's from an audience, whatever it is you're going towards. So I just want to encourage you guys, stay optimistic here. And this is, same for the bears, like the pessimists are going to claim $3,000 Bitcoin. Well, the optimists, they're going to get rich buying pretty much all the way down, and then eventually it will recover. So if you're, nitpicking between whether it's you bought it 17K or 14K or 20K, nobody's going to really care when it's at 150K. And if you don't think 150K is possible, you just need to go do some more research, because it's extremely possible in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And then again, you'll be kicking yourself like, why was I so hung up on those last couple $1,000s? So just wanted to put that out there real quick as we roll through these things. Here's another fun, which is a great account, by the way. I get a lot of stuff from
Yeah,
she's amazing.
Yeah. Wow, you guys in complete unison.
Yeah,
That was good.
She's fantastic.
But yeah, some members of Congress are pushing to eliminate the debt ceiling. If Visa and American Express got rid of all spending limits for customers, I wonder how that would go. And I think that was a really good way to put it into perspective. So if those of you who don't know, they always raise the debt ceiling. Every time we bump up against it, it's a huge crisis. Oh, if we don't raise it, the whole country's going to stop up. And then they always raise it. Now they're talking about absolutely getting rid of it. But if you think about it in perspective of the way she just put it there, if consumer credit cards didn't have any limit, what do you think would happen? Everybody would be in massive debt immediately, and it would be unpayable very, very quickly. I'll bring it to the peanut gallery here. Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I mean, it's, this is for rules for thee, not for me type situation, and this debt ceiling knows no party color. It happens blue or red side, whoever's in control.
Yep.
There's a clear graph. The calmest time where we did not raise the ceiling in the recent past was between 2000 and 2003, I think, incidentally, not optimistically. And we all know what happened at that time frame. Yeah, essentially, I think that it's going to continue. It's just an inverse graph of the dollar's value. If you just flip the dollar value onto the debt ceiling, it matches perfectly. And this is just the way that the system operates. That's why the potential for demanding transparency within our governments is, it might be a pipe dream, but it is a technological possibility that we have with Bitcoin. And we see some nations moving towards that direction. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think that we could teach some fiscal responsibility to modern monetary theory with this tech.
That would be great.
Yeah.
You think we could actually do that?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Absolutely.
Nick, any thoughts?
I mean, look, man, how R-rated is this stream going to get?
Well, not too R-rated.
R for resource.
This is the last place I'm allowed to be.
Okay. I'll in that case, I'll censor myself, which is the only way you should be censored.
That's good point.
So look, let's get it on. Let's start this Keynesian economics eyes wide shut party, and let's freaking go.
Send it. That's what you're saying.
Just send it.
Yeah.
Do it, you pussies.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, let them have it. Let them have it. Get rid of that debt ceiling.
Please.
Then we'll all get rich because you guys will print money forever.
Exactly.
Everybody here in this chat that's in a hedged asset like Bitcoin, you're like, yeah, inflate it away. Sure.
Why not?
Dig your own grave.
So the sooner
I like that.
People need to realize, okay, America was founded on two principles. Number one, spiritual freedom to worship.
Mm-hmm.
Number two,
Say
freedom from a central money authority. They were bucking against King Edward.
King George.
King George.
It was George. Was it George? No,
George III, I think it was.
when they came over in 1492 or when they...
Oh, no.
1776?
No, 76.
I think it was Edward.
Yeah.
Anyways, kings, monarchies, central banks, they were bucking against that. We didn't have a central bank for most of this country's history.
Yep.
And then as soon as that central bank reared its ugly head, everyone was ringing the alarm bell saying, this is the end of the country. if this happens, and lo and behold, Jekyll Island, we got a central bank,
Yep.
and America has bifurcated at that point. America is what we know it and what it was founded as no longer existed in 1923.
Absolutely.
So the sooner this thing can burn out, the better it is for America. So let's freaking go.
So can I be
Do
the
it.
dum-dum real quickly?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, but I just want to throw one fun fact. A lot of people don't know. We've actually abolished a central bank from our nation's history 3 different
Yes.
times.
Yep.
And 1929 is the last time we let it
Yep.
back in.
Yeah, 29. Yep.
And the president at the time said, basically, I've sold my people down the river. He knew it was a grave error. But all right, BJ, what you got?
Is there an easy way to define Keynesian economics?
Yes,
I feel like most people here know, but
you have it. Go ahead.
no, I don't. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so I'll give a stab at it. So there's Austrian economics and then there's Keynesian economics. Those are the kind of like 2 trains of schools of thought. There's like this hyper mutant bastardization of Keynesian economics, which is called modern monetary theory. And so we'll just define that because that's what everyone is these days. So basically, modern monetary theory is there's no such thing as debt, and value, the economies must be regulated in boom and bust cycles, and inflation can be regulated via debt. That's a crude, extremely crude way of explaining it, but that's the justification of all of their monetary policies. Austrian economics is hard money. The only way to improve an economy is by improving goods and services, essentially it. And your money must be backed by a hard money or a hard asset. And debt is fine, but debt should not be issued by a central authority. So
Yeah,
very crude way of explaining.
Yeah, that is good. And if you guys haven't, again, I always talk about the Bitcoin standard. They go into this in great detail. The way I generally like to explain it is basically I say Keynesian. I don't know if I'm right because it's based on I think it's John Michael Keynes.
Yep.
And basically what it is consumption or spending is the best way to, that's how you, which is basically what he was saying in not the same terms, but consuming and spending is the best way to stimulate the economy. And if you're ever going down, you just need to spend more, print more, create. It is a debt-based system to his point.
It's a central banker system.
Where Austrian economics is more, like he said, hard money. It's incentivizes saving because there is a hard money, meaning a set supply, not ever increasing supply of the money. And there will be, boom and bust cycles. So if the market is out of whack, you will have a market downturn and it will self-correct. So it's basically free market, which is ironic that they call what we have right now a free market or capitalism. Really, Austrian economics is real capitalism at play. It's a true free market that where if you make good choices, you're rewarded. If you're irresponsible and take high risk, sometimes that comes with pain. And right now, the people that are taking the highest risk get backstopped and they get bailouts, and they still get the profit of the high risk when it hits. But then when they over leverage and get crushed, like what happened in 2008, 2009, we don't let the free market come in and correct it. And to me, that's generally the difference between it. But again, it's very nuanced. You can dig into it more and more and more.
Does this have anything to do with the Aldous Huxley book, A Slave New World?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it does. I mean, it has to do with the WEF and all this kind of stuff. They want you in debt. They don't want you saving. They incentivize spending and stimulating. If you look up it's the broken window theory or whatever, where it's like, it's all about, creating more, spending and buying and borrowing throughout the economy, and that's how we increase and grow and grow and grow, which is why they want to raise the debt ceiling so they can take on more debt, so they can infuse it into the economy so people can spend more money and buy more things. But if we're not producing any more things, eventually what happens is all that debt gets levied onto the backs of the citizens. And to BJ's point, they're enslaved forever. You will own nothing and be happy, and their narrative continues to play out. And what's fascinating is, like I've mentioned on the show before, this used to be a pretty relevant debate. It's also kind of the core between capitalism and socialism in a lot of different ways. And every time we test it, it fails miserably. And then they just pretend it doesn't happen. And they pretend it's still a debate, and they continue to perpetuate it because it works well for those with a lot of money, because they're still controlling the entire market. And it's extremely frustrating to watch. It's, and part of it is because most people don't look at history beyond at least their lifetime or their cognitive lifetime for a lot of people, which is like 100 years. A lot of people aren't looking at monetary policy over thousands of years, which is what was a big wake up for me when I did the Bitcoin standard. It's hard to conceptualize time beyond yourself, and that's just a fact of life and nature. Our perception of time is based on our time on this earth, which is why the older you get, the faster time goes, because a year is now 1/70th of your life instead of when you're 7, it being a 7th, So just think about relativity of time, and that's a whole nother thing to think about. But
well, you've seen this a million times, but this is almost like the original ledger is they would literally, I don't think you can see this, but
put the notches out. Yeah.
The notches are on the sides so somebody can tell if this is authentic or not.
Right.
Yeah.
And that comes, I think, from the Roman Empire when they first started they started taking the gold coins and putting a little bit of copper in
Clipping
there,
it.
and then or nickel, or it started as nickel and then maybe switched to copper. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then eventually, little by little, they were cutting more and more of the real gold and silver out, and then by the end, there was only about 5% of it was real gold. So if you had the original coins, obviously, it was a lot more valuable. There's inflation. There's a unhard money supply, and again, that's when everything goes into chaos, which is why they say fix the money, fix the world.
But the way they
Unhard
kick
money
the
supply.
can,
That's Gary Gensler's porn name.
they kick the can further down the road in the Roman.
That was good.
God.
Oh, man.
We just came up with the Gensler
Clip it.
porn name.
Multisig Dummy says Nick is dumb smart.
Yeah,
Thanks.
he is.
Go ahead.
Appreciate
Drew.
that.
The Roman Empire knew it was failing and started clipping its currency. The provinces it took over started revolting and actually having effectiveness. And to keep control, they offered a Colosseum with free bread and entertainment.
That's right. You will eat the SSRIs and you will eat the bugs.
I see it as sports.
Then they named it
and
the NFL.
McDonald's. The sports and McDonald's is what that looks like to me in comparison. I know
It is.
It's very true.
You
It's
know.
mass, whether it's mass entertainment. It's keep them stimulated, keep them entertained. You can say it's HBO and Netflix. You can say it's
Back to the bifurcation.
It's
What?
TikTok.
bifurcation.
what is bifurcation?
Leave the alphabet people out of
Okay,
this.
let me rephrase this. The dichotomous where it's left and right, there's always two options. So
right.
you
Oh,
pick
yeah.
between the
Yes.
two.
You're too smart with those big words sometimes.
I know.
You guys
dude.
have said it like 4 times today.
Bifurcation.
Yeah, too smart for me, I guess. But no, it's 100% true. They need to, like you said, the dichotomy split this or that. It's two different situations, sports or entertainment. You have same thing. You got concert people, you have sports people.
Yeah.
You go look at the ESG score of any mainstream concert that's touring right now,
Yeah.
and tell me that that's not, like it's just a joke when they start comparing that. Like, look at it was the Weeknd. We saw a concert from the Weeknd, and I was just looking so much production. I mean, it was a cool concert, great production value, but the pyrotechnics, the lights, everything that goes into getting everybody into that building. And it's put on by the same people that are like, you should have a lower ESG score.
Yeah,
And it's
AEG.
well, if it serves you, you have no problem with it. And of course, the normal one is like, oh, look at all the jets and stuff that they're flying into Davos with. Somebody dropped in there, Davos means to give, which I thought was interesting in Latin. And then to give to us was the other translation in another language, which again, interesting. So I'm going to roll through this stuff real quick. What I will say, real quick, know your history, guys. You just saw right there. We do have a lot of very smart people in this building. We know our history, and history does repeat itself. And if you don't know it, you're going to fall victim to it. And that's why you should be aware. And it's very clear to see where this is going to end if you've read your history.
The basement might not be part of the bread in the circus, but I'm definitely in the circus.
Yeah, and I turned down a
We'll take the
universal
bread.
offer.
We're in the basement.
I've,
Hello.
I've turned down the Matrix for their loans and in my music career. So
I would do the opposite.
I've been there. Yeah.
Matrix, call me. I'm ready.
Nick's like, plug me in.
Plug me in, baby.
He's the guy.
Sir, it doesn't need to get plugged in that hole. You're like, yes, please.
Sure.
No, Nick's the guy that's eating the steak. I forget the guy's name. He's like, you know what?
Cyrus?
Cyrus? Yeah. He's the guy who basically takes the whole thing. He's like, you know what? I just love this freaking steak. Like I'll take it. Like you guys go be free. That's a pretty crappy world knowing what the real. I'll just keep my head down.
Yeah.
No, Nick's too smart for that. He's not burying his head in the sand. He's just jerking your chain.
If you run, you will only
Jerking
die
something.
tired, my friends.
That's true.
So.
All right. Well, speaking of knowing your history, let me know in the chat if you guys watched that Madoff documentary that I talked about, because this
I need
one
to watch
here
this
is
stuff.
giving me eerily. Speaking of things that repeat themselves, again, this is totally, just pure hunch, gut instinct. I've noticed a lot of similarities between, people involved with Enron, Madoff, and FTX, people involved with a lot of these big money things. Now we've got this guy, Ken Griffin, Citadel. You know, it's a hedge fund. Post 16 billion in 2022 profits per Forbes, reportedly has become the top earning hedge fund ever. Very interesting. Obviously, a lot of people got wrecked in 2022. Very similar, you know, that's very similar to the way Madoff was able to outperform the market inexplicably compared to anybody else. Now, here's a Citadel tied to Robinhood. If you guys don't know, it's, you know, they've got some ownership and some shares and some of that stuff. Here's another interesting twist. Citadel LLC, hedge fund. Citadel Securities, market maker. Citadel Connect, non-registered dark pool.
Fun.
All three, all three owned by Ken Griffin. So let's get this straight. The company shorting the stock also directs the order and fills it.
That's just...
What is that called? Vertical integration or whatever?
Yeah. No, it's called clear conflict of interest.
Well, that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Crypto throw a basement forcibly put the red and orange pill in my mouth and made me swallow.
Yeah.
Nobody
Well,
can make you swallow.
we're glad you do.
Remember
So, for those of you guys who don't know, Madoff Securities was a market maker. He was also running a hedge fund. He also had a non-registered, meaning not registered with the SEC, dark pool fund. All three of the same things that Ken Griffin's doing now.
But history doesn't repeat itself.
Just saying.
So invest in Citadel.
Yeah, if you want to lose all your money.
Oh, well, yeah, has a plea.
I mean,
right?
everyone
Where's the
made money on
SEC?
Bernie Madoff until they didn't.
Yeah,
So do you
until
think
they
the
didn't.
goose is cooked, or do you think he's got another 10 years of runway?
That's the question, you know. Well, and then I think I retweeted this with a little. Yeah, here we go. It's simple. If I don't do my job, I keep my job.
That's
Because who do you
pretty
think's keeping
legit.
him in there? Who do you think's paying all that stuff? This is Gary Gensler, head of the SEC. For you guys who don't know,
He's a lizard.
Who had sex with him? I'm sorry. I know.
Does
it's
he
the
have
basement.
kids? Does he have kids?
yeah, I think he does.
I know he has
I
a
can
brother.
I think he reproduced. You know how in Blade Runner, when the people are like in the
Yeah, he has a
bags and they
daughter.
slide out, that's how he was.
Wow.
That's how he.
Can't
There's like
confirm.
there's a new Gary every couple months.
They just extract people from the Matrix and, you know, plug them into his. Yeah, but I think he does have a daughter. Anna Lee is what this says.
I
So
thought TJ was his son.
yeah, well, yeah, I'm his son, right?
Stepson.
Stepson.
Yeah, that's the secret, guys.
Who has sex
So yeah, I won't harp on that too long. I just found it interesting last night. Again, I don't have anything other than that information I just shared. I just thought it was a very interesting coincidence.
Yeah.
His daughter worked with Elizabeth Warren. The Matrix says, I think.
She's part Native American.
I know his brother.
She
works
working
for
on the
WeWork.
res with Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, probably.
When you say it out loud, it sounds even more ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just insane. And this is all right in front of us, guys. This is all stuff that they do right in front of
High
us,
cheekbones.
and they just don't care. And that's the sad part. To Drew's point, like a lot of people are still plugged into the Matrix. A lot of people do have their head in the sand. A lot of people, or no, it was Nick talking about this. A lot of people feel like we can't fight back. You know, that we've already lost. It's not worth the effort.
Well,
you
that's
know,
the atrazine in the water. You know, lowering those testosterone levels. They don't
a
want
whole
to fight.
other thing.
Goat. Hey TJ, Goat versus Sax asks, why does AJ have more followers on his fake account than his blue check Twitter?
I don't know.
I saw that. His fake
sad,
account
dude.
has 11,000
I know.
followers, dude. I was like, what is going on here?
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
whack. I reported it. I'm trying to do
That
AJ
hurts.
solid. But yeah.
That's gotta hurt.
sucks.
Also, sports and fantasy football is just D&D for losers.
Oh.
I played both, so jokes on
you're
you.
good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Sorry, he plays D&D, so, you know.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, sports betting, sports, all that stuff, it's all designed to keep you looking over here.
Corey Harden asked if we talked
crypto
about
sub
stock
method
market
really
hack
working.
this morning.
We did. We touched on it, I believe, at
Yeah.
the beginning. We definitely touched on it on
There's
the
not
morning
many
stream.
details to like divulge into yet. That was kind of my question: is if we're going to get details on it. It crashed right at the opening. We've seen the FAA go down in
Yep.
Canada, the U.S. We saw the parcel services go down in the U.K. We saw the Philippines go down. We saw Pakistan.
Bro, it's like a Mia Khalifa video out
Yeah.
there right now.
There's a lot of errors
Yeah.
happening with massive.
Everybody's
data
going down.
systems.
Joseph Cubador, do you think those SEC officials who met with Madoff and cleared him were fired? Absolutely not. They definitely
Absolutely
were
not.
and they were not even really investigated for being complete buffoons at their job. They didn't even give a straight answer as to why they never followed up on the obvious misinformation he provided them with. It was as easy as one simple phone call. They never did it time after time. The fix is in Washington. We already know this. Politicians are bought. That's part of what that SEC thing was. As long as you do what you're supposed to do for the people that pay you, you're going to stay there.
Back up Tom Emmer, guys.
Oh, we need deep picks, TJ.
We need deep picks.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to roll through all these stories. We're running out of time.
We're done. We got to do deep picks.
Yeah, all right. Because I had a little bit more on this Genesis stuff. It's definitely crazy, effed up. More. We talked about it, I think, on the morning stream. Basically, Barry Silbert was doing the same thing FTX was doing, just slightly more paperwork legally, but not really, because it was all supposed to be disclosed to the SEC. They were basically selling their shares through collateral from Grayscale Bitcoin Trust through collateralized loans to Gemini and other people without ever disclosing that to the SEC. That's a big no-no, which has opened up all sorts of different investigations. And
unless you get the go-go.
Yeah, which they didn't get the go-go, and now they're having to pay out. It's caused a big, a lot of selling pressure on those shares. They are going to have to, I think, liquidate a lot of those to make the Gemini users whole. The summary: Genesis pledges GBTC to Gemini Earn. Genesis suspends the withdrawals. Gemini forecloses on the GBTC collateral. Gemini sells GBTC for a private buyer, causing the spread to widen. 2 months after that, Three Arrows Capital collapses. Gemini enters into a security agreement, 465 million of GBTC pledged, 31 million units to GBTC at $15. Risk manager at Gemini Earn says, "Hey, Genesis, we have a lot of unsecured risk on you. Please post collateral ASAP." The risk manager were likely concerned about Gemini's increasing counterparty risk, the decline in the Genesis loans outstanding, fallout, contagion risk from Gemini. Gemini was pretty much doing their jobs. They had concern about Three Arrows Capital. November 7th, Gemini and Genesis modified the security agreement. They agreed to term out the agreement, giving Genesis more time to pay back Gemini Earn creditors. November 8th, FTX stops withdrawals. Parties are negotiating while FTX is blowing up in the background. November 10th, Gemini and Genesis enter into the second amendment to the security agreement. This time, DCG is also party to the agreement. DCG steps in to help Genesis, likely by pledging another 31 million of GBTC accumulated from its spread. So basically, they were trying to sell at a different point through these collateralized loans. Genesis suspends withdrawals on the same day. Gemini forecloses on the GBTC collateral in its possession at $9.20. So that's all manipulating the GBTC share price to try to prop up these loans, much like what FTX was doing with FTT. They were trying to keep a certain level. I think it was $22. They were desperately trying to hold due to the collateralized loan they had for Binance. All Binance had to do was call that loan in, and everything hit the fan. Basically, we don't think you can afford to send us these shares without it crashing your price. And if it goes below this number, then you owe a lot of people a lot of money. Almost the same thing happening between Digital Currency Group and the Winklevi when it comes to all of that sort of stuff. So that's the fast version of it. So
Brutal.
Brutal.
asking about Mia Khalifa. Eva Lovia is going to be on Around the Blockchain in February, and she might get Mia Khalifa on too.
Sorry, that does sound like a Hyundai model, though. The
2025 Mia Khalifa.
Urkelson, speaking of Mia Khalifa, let's get into these deep picks.
Good one.
Well, here we go. Some of them have to do with Cosmos. We might come back to this story tomorrow. Cosmos Hub reaps the benefits of Terra's new update. I know we have a lot of Cosmos fans in here. Some of these picks are from. This is talking about Osmo. Where are my picks here?
Osmo's not a deep pick.
No, it's not. This was just part of this Cosmo conversation. I will save this for tomorrow since we're running short on time.
I wonder if you've got what I've got for Cosmos.
Where did it go? Did I delete it?
No.
Hold on, give me a second.
Dick
I'll find
picks.
it.
Yeah, that's on my grinder.
Pull off this screen, BJ.
Smash the like on Nick's grinder if you
That's
haven't
right.
already.
That's right. +1 in the chat for my grinder.
We know.
Real quick,
It's
while
the
I'm looking
dictator.
for this, you guys can talk about this. Talk about this.
Kava's good.
What you got? I'm sitting here watching.
There aren't
BTC.
many things cooler than Bitcoin mining, but nuclear Bitcoin mining.
Nuclear.
Nuclear
Oh my God,
powered
I will
Bitcoin
stop
mining.
the fucking stream right now.
I'm saying that just for BJ's benefit.
Nuclear.
Powered Bitcoin mining is certainly one of them.
That's lit.
So we've got the first U.S. nuclear powered Bitcoin mining center to open in Q1. All right, talk about that, Nick, while I go find this. Pull this down.
I mean, what do you want to know besides that this is when it comes
should
to the
give you a hard
Mandalorian, this is the way. Or
This
really,
is the way.
This is the way. Like, you think gas burn-offs is cool way to mine Bitcoin?
Right.
Freaking atom smashing is a cooler way to do it.
Absolutely.
So, look, the world needs nuclear power. Nuclear power. Nuclear power.
Nuclear?
And this breakthrough that just happened about 2 months ago with the fusion starter having a net positive reaction. It's a small detail, but it's very important because fusion is like, that's when we go to like the Citadel type of environment where power is, pennies on the dollar. But man, if once the Bitcoin mining and with nuclear power and other green energy solutions, like actual green energy solutions, once that starts to take off, we're talking about a huge renaissance, not just in Bitcoin, but in American excellence when it comes to like service industries and stuff.
We're like the only country that doesn't use bio smart panels. Have you seen those? So they're basically algae based CDC cell. Yes.
CBDCs?
No, I'm trying to remember if
Love
it's a
those.
CDC with the diode that's in there. But
All
yeah,
right.
so you can. There's a lot of methodologies.
I found it.
there that are pretty cool.
You got it.
And it was here the whole time,
It was
by the
there.
way. I was just scrolled down on the thread, so I was looking for the top of it.
CDSL, that's what it is.
There you go.
Sounds like a positive.
So this is something you guys hear me talk about a lot. Many of the next cycle's top performers haven't been released yet.
Yep.
That's what I learned going through my last cycle. Again, a lot of the top performers of 2020 and 2021 will not be the top performers of 24 and 25. And that's okay. A lot of the mid-range ones still will be. A lot of the things that somewhat performed in, early then could outperform what they did last time. On that last topic, Chemistry Bro says real fusion is changing everything, which yes, is very true.
Someone brought up CERN too. That was in my mind, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
deep picks.
So yeah, these deep picks have the potential to be your 50 and 100x picks next run, the next Solana or Matic, and I will never forget being outside of Consensus. I don't know what, I must have been 2019, and a crypto zombie telling Ben and I about Matic, and it was like, he's like, yeah, this thing looks legit. The team's really strong. I think it could get to 1 penny.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was well below 1 penny.
Oh God.
And he's like, this is a legit one. I'm gonna hold on to this one. I think it's gonna do well. And if it gets to a penny, we're in business. And I'm thinking, like,
holy
man,
shit.
yeah, exactly. And so
He's so smart.
he is very smart, guys. If you guys don't follow Crypto Zombie, make sure to go sub to him. He's a great. He's been doing the news for a very long time. He knows the markets extremely well. Has great time and perspective. Somebody I have a lot of respect for as a content creator and as a crypto investor. So definitely be sure to go and check him out. Yes. But this is according to Mr. Miles, I always forget you can do this here. Crypto analyst, airdrop hunter, DeFi addict, busy finding the next 100x. Tweets are not financial advice. So this is the.
So it's like Martini guy, but smart.
Well, I was gonna say this is our Johnny from another life. He's the DeFi hunter. He loved finding the airdrops and getting in with new systems. So again, a lot of these things, or some of these things I've mentioned before. Some of these I haven't, but I wanted to share them with you guys. Do your own research. Do your own digging. Because some of these could be what changes your financial future for the rest of time.
And that's financial advice.
Sure. I said could be. Layer ones, Sui Network. Sui is a high performance L1 uses the Move programming language. You guys have heard us mention that one before. It's founded by former Facebook engineers who worked on the now defunct Diem project. It's a fork, a split between Aptos. So obviously some view it as superior to its relative Aptos, which also uses Move. And then I'm just gonna roll through these because we're rolling short on time. How would you say that? Sai?
I'd say Sai.
Is built on Cosmos. Again, that's an ecosystem I'm very interested in right now with a lot of those different ones. Obviously, you saw I had the Osmo stuff pulled up. We'll get into that tomorrow, I guess, for you guys. Another, again, first sector specific layer 1 blockchain specialized for trading to give exchanges an unfair advantage. In the first order book focused L1 blockchain designed to be faster and more reliable than other types of blockchains. We know trading in DeFi, one of the more relevant and active use cases within blockchain right now. So finding use cases that are actually real and relevant and being used, DeFi, supply chain, and gaming, NFTs, those sort of things, oracles are all things that we know are going to be necessary to move forward. Money transfers, of course, but finding use cases that are relevant is part of picking these projects that will do well. Some of them are going to be pure hype driven, but just keep that in mind. Say's goal is to become the decentralized NASDAQ by allowing smart contracts to access shared liquidity. In my opinion, it's a unique approach to address the specific use cases, makes it an exciting project to watch. So liquidity, one of the key factors in any decentralized exchange. Uniswap kind of solved that with users being able to provide liquidity. But if we could pool liquidity across multiple different exchanges, obviously it would have to be large amounts of liquidity. Very interesting concept. If you guys know exchanges and order books and what makes the product good for users, liquidity, obviously fast liquidity, fast transaction times and settlements, withdrawals.
I don't think CeFi would ever agree with that though, because they pump up their numbers. So it's like they want to sell it for more versus you have to provide liquidity and you're getting less off of it.
Yeah, well, they also like to arbitrage some of those differences as well. I think it's kind of what you're referring to there, and it's true. But if you have a market competitor that's providing a similar product for a lower cost, the market will gravitate there. Okay. Hopefully, in theory. And none of these are slam dunks. Celestia, a modular network enabling anyone to easily deploy their own blockchain with minimal overhead. We know there's been a lot of projects.
I found this one a month ago. The token is not released yet, but it is legit.
Yeah, a lot. I don't think any of these. Some of them are released. They're in private sale, but I don't think they've had a lot of the token generation events for a lot of these things.
Nope.
Right.
I think he said all of them at the top, but don't quote me on that.
You can track the coin drops on CoinMarketCap. They have a release date.
Really?
Or a release calendar. Yeah, for coin
That's
drops.
Cool. So he shared it. Actually, I should retweet this so you guys. Here, I'll retweet it. So you guys go find Hit Network on Twitter, and you'll find all this information. So Celestial, Fuel Labs is building the Fuel, the world's fastest modular execution layer. Allows execution layers to leverage Ethereum security without being restricted by the limitations of the EVM. Transactions execute on Fuel VM, their virtual machine. And a lot of these are kind of not sexy necessarily, but they are necessary in order for things to continue to scale. Interoperability is a really key one. Scaling is a really key one. So we need a lot. Analogy you hear a lot with the internet is bigger pipes. Like when the internet was first created, just sending a simple text was very difficult. And then it's like, we want to be able to send images across this network. And it's like, the pipes aren't big enough. We can't get enough data through fast enough to send pictures, let alone FaceTime images or.
It almost fit perfectly.
Yeah, that was good. Right when I was talking about a face, but good job there, Urkelson. Nailed it.
That was me.
Oh, I thought he did it.
It's for Urkelson.
Oh, BitBoy at Urkelson. I see. Yeah. Let's see. Quai Network is again. You can see a theme here. A lot of layer ones, guys. I like layer ones. Quai is a layer one network of blockchains which utilizes a novel combination of merged mining and sharding, which is interesting. We know. Is it Cadena that's some proof of work and proof of stake?
Yes.
Yeah, and so we're starting to see people play with different governance models, different consensus algorithms. No guarantee anyone's going to work, but it is interesting. Anything that involves proof of work is intriguing to me. Let's keep.
I've been pro that there's going to be a hybrid system between the two of them at some point.
Absolutely.
Could be, yeah.
The truth is always somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. And this one here, ZK Sync. I know you guys have probably heard of this one. This is a pretty big one. It's clear that ZK is the future of scaling. Zero knowledge is what that stands for on Ethereum. And ZK Sync is at the forefront of this innovation. Their full mainnet hasn't even launched yet, but look at their ecosystem is vast. So if you're thinking about layer, this is Layer 2, yeah. So if you're thinking about Optimism, you're thinking about Matic, you're thinking about things that use optimistic rollup, ZK Sync, Arbitrum probably is going to be lower down on this list if I had to guess. The ecosystem that goes with it, very strong. Like I said, their full mainnet hasn't launched yet. ZK Sync solves 3 of Ethereum's key problems by offering much lower gas fees, enhanced scalability, and UX-first wallets and dApps powered by ZK Sync. Again, here's some more information about people talking about it. And I'm just going over this all real fast so you guys can all go do your own digging. Oh, there's Arbitrum right there. You guys have heard us talk about this one a lot. Yep. Arbitrum has seen huge growth in recent months, reaching over 1 billion in TVL. Like Optimism, Arbitrum is an optimistic rollup. Their token is coming soon and is one of the most anticipated token releases of crypto.
I am so hot on ZK Sync and Arbitrum. And I think I missed Optimism. But yeah, I've been harping on these.
I
wouldn't be so sure. Yeah, I don't think you have. I think there's still time on a lot of these Ethereum layer 2s. I think those are like, I don't have any Optimism right now, but I've got my eye on it. Next time we see Bitcoin pull back, I think we'll see a pretty good correction on Optimism, and that might be when I scoop some.
Is that Jay Childs in the chat?
Johnny Childs?
Johnny Childs in the chat.
He heard we were talking about optimistic rollups.
Yeah, Johnny,
like a moth to a flame.
Yeah, you say Ethereum layer 2, and Johnny appears just like Tom Crown does with Litecoin. So
he's on.
This is like I said, this is
he's like that meme guy behind the tree.
Yeah, he's our deep dive hunter right here. So ZK Sync, something again very interesting to me. Yeah, make sure I didn't skip one. Oh, Starkware. This is the one I skipped. Layer 2 scaling solution, which utilizes Stark proofs to reduce the amount of information sent to the Ethereum blockchain and alleviate blockchain congestion. Starknet, like ZSync, utilizes zero-knowledge roll-up technology to achieve this. So I have not heard as much about this one as I have a lot of the other ones. That doesn't mean it's any more or less good. But I do know brand awareness, name awareness is something that's important, which is why I think Arbitrum is going to do so well. A lot of people are waiting for this Arbitrum drop. Yeah. 0x Polygon. Polygon recently acquired Hermes, a ZK rollup scaling solution. They're merging the networks ahead of Polygon's ZK EVM mainnet launch. The Matic token will be the primary beneficiary. You can read my full Matic deep dive here. So again, Matic, another strong project, staying relevant, staying updated. And here we go. In next category, interoperability, Layer 0 Labs. Layer 0 is an interoperability protocol designed to connect multiple chains. This is going to be a recurring theme we see a lot here. Interoperability, connecting different chains is critical in order for us to hit mass adoption, in my opinion. You laughing at me because I don't have... Oh, that's funny. I don't have Optimism. I have Pessimism coin. I'm an optimist.
Pessimism coin is Bitcoin. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Never mind. I could pick some other ones, but so Layer 0 Labs, interoperability basically uses an oracle to relay to transfer messages from chain A to chain B, as opposed to using a singular middle network to relay messages. And I would actually put oracles there. I think if you're relying on any one oracle, even if it's decentralized like a chain link, I think there's going to be 2 to 3 that end up winning out in the market, which is what we see in the basic markets right now between a few different oracle providers, or data providers is another way you could think about that. Think of it as an ultimate interoperability layer, a narrative which I'm quite bullish on. Zeta Chain or Zeta blockchain is an L1 built for omni-chain interoperability. It enables omni-chain generic smart contracts and messaging between any blockchain, meaning generic smart contracts, languages that multiple chains can understand. So it's like, we know we've got Solidity on Ethereum, we've got Plutus, and on Cardano, we've got Move on Aptos and Sui. If we can get a place where all the languages is similar and can interact. Here they're showing the example between Ethereum, BNB, Bitcoin, Polygon, any other layer 2 to plug in there. Again, a lot of this is new, and you're going to have to get developer adoption on it. You're going to have to get people using it. So none of this is a slam dunk, but you're going to be very, 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 very early. So even a small amount could turn out pretty decent on any of these picks. More on Zeta Chain, and then other Quadrata network, or how would you say Quadrata?
Quadriga?
No, not Quadriga.
That was a joke.
Yeah. Allows you to KYC on-chain without publicly revealing your identity. That's interesting. There's a gap in the market for effective on-chain identification, and Quadrata's passport may be the needed solutions. This is interesting. You're touching on privacy. You're touching on KYC, ALM laws. I think this is going to be very area specific. So again, know the market and know the potential when you're getting into it. I think it's great moving forward. I don't know if it's going to get to full scale. Drift Protocol is a perpetual DEX built on Solana, which uses a hybrid of decentralized limited order book model. Meh. When it comes to perpetual DEX, you guys know I'm already a fan of Apex DEX. I think built on Solana, okay, whatever. I think this guy's probably, I know this guy probably leans Solana heavy. Oops, didn't mean to click on that. But, I do think decentralized DEXs are going to be a movement in the next bull run. So something to keep an eye on, whether it's on Solana, whether it's on Ethereum. The more chain, the more pairings you can have on it, I think the more useful it's going to be. So if it's specific to Solana, I'm not all that interested. But if it hits multi-chain, great. And then airdrops, some projects that will airdrop tokens upon launch. We saw Aptos, we saw Optimism, Uni, etc. This typically involves testnet participation. We know Arbitrum's talking about an airdrop, so if you can participate in that, make sure to go do it. Blah 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 blah. There you go. All right.
Bam.
So there are your picks in the speed run.
Bam.
Deep pick 50 to 100x altcoin gems that could make you rich in the future.
That's financial advice.
And that's financial advice. I said could. I'm not saying
free top D.
Hey, we have a disclaimer in every one of our videos.
Yeah.
So,
We need a segment like a flashing red light. This is financial advice. Use it at your,
self-custody, great name there. At this point, I'm only interested in coins that can explain exactly how they are going to earn a return for their holders.
Absolutely.
You mean like a security?
Yeah, I don't know about that take. I would not necessarily be on the same page, but I get it.
At least
don't go chasing yield. Don't go chasing yield coins. Is all I'm saying. I don't know how sophisticated and how much time you've got in the market, but don't try to get rich quick in crypto. That's the fastest way to get wrecked. I will tell you that much. The people that want to get rich fast, the people that are trying to turn 1,000 into 1,000,000 in a month, in 6 months, in 4 months, in one cycle. Maybe one cycle. You should accumulate strong projects now and hold them for the next 2 years. I'm accumulating strong projects now and I plan to hold them for the next 2 years. You can do whatever you want, but I wouldn't say don't chase quick gains. We saw it, yield farming. So many people like, I'm in this cloud mining thing, and we've seen BitConnect do its thing. We've seen Sheeb and Doge, and a lot of these things. People like watch it run up and watch it run back down, and then they don't even understand if it did run up. There's no liquidity to withdraw any of your stuff, and so just be careful out there, guys. Chemistry Bro says if it has a clear way to make you money, and they are explaining how their coin will make you rich, it's probably a scam. Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel in general.
Yeah. It's
Must
got
have
the
been
flu.
that Mexican
Look,
food,
guys,
man.
if your debt to income ratio is higher than 30%, if you don't qualify, if your DTI is too high and you can't qualify for a mortgage, like you should probably be readjusting how much you're DCAing into crypto because you need to get your shit together.
Get a house.
Okay?
Yeah, pay your debt down.
This is financial advice.
Yeah.
Okay, because everything we're talking about here is assuming that you can pay your rent, you're not behind on child support.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're not a dirtbag. So you need to get your house in order.
Be responsible.
Be responsible, and you invest in the extra that you have.
Yep.
So that's the entire parenthetical that goes with everything that we say in every single one of these streams is you have to have your house in order. Okay.
There you go. That's the parenthetical from Nick. He's going to parent you.
Yes. Parenthetical.
Yeah. Parent theory. No, just kidding. That's great advice, everybody. You do need to be physically responsible. That's what it's all about. You have to have that dry powder.
Child support coin.
It's coming. Are we rating Hit Network Gaming?
Yeah, we'll rate him. Who needs it?
All right, guys, go hang out. Go play some video. Speaking of being responsible, go play some video games with our buddy Joel.
There you
No, just
go.
kidding. Go out there, make your money. I'm sure you guys are all working from home, making that bank or whatever you're doing. Investing.
Sell them feet picks.
Investing in degen, altcoin picks, airdrops. We love you all. Shout out, dude. What's my name? John Stockman, multi-sig dummy, self custody. Eastgate, Red Robles, Manawalk, The Matrix, Kirschdog, Riddle with Puns, and all the rest of you guys out there. We love you all. We'll
Have a
see you
wonderful
tomorrow.
day.
Bob Nesbitt.
Talk